I'm going to tell you exactly where all the magic is hidden. For those who might be new to the world of running your own business or supporting a startup, let me tell you, the magic is in understanding your pipeline. Welcome to the Managed Chaos podcast, where we give you the startup business rundown in less time than it takes for you to get to work. I'm Rachel Anderson, and today we have a fabulous guest with us, Jasz Joseph, to talk about the importance of pipeline visibility. Jasz is a proven revenue strategist, HubSpot expert, and trusted growth partner. After years working for top HubSpot partner agencies, she saw how businesses invested heavily in marketing tech, only to be left with overly complex setups, underutilized tools, and strategies that looked great on paper, but failed to move the needle in sales, which honestly, such a common problem. She founded her own consultancy in 2021 to cut through the noise and help businesses turn their marketing efforts into real, measurable ROI. Jasz, it is so nice to meet you. I'm really, really excited about today. Pipeline, juicy. Love it.
I love it. Amazing. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, let's dive right in and really ask why. Why does pipeline visibility break down for so many companies, and why is it important for them to really be aware of it so they can see those early warning signs?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think a lot of it comes down to we are still so siloed in our different departments. And that's why I really love HubSpot, because it is that one-stop shop tool. So your marketing team, your sales team, your customer service team, everybody can be in there. And so that helps to an extent, right? But there's also a culture piece. A tool is not going to fix everything. And I think so often we hear this complaint of marketing saying, "Hey, I'm driving all of these leads, but I don't know what sales is doing with them." And sales saying, "Marketing isn't bringing me any good leads. They're all these cold leads. They're not warm. They're not ready to be reached out to." And then there's a huge disconnect on the customer service side because, we all know that it doesn't end once somebody has become a customer. How can we continue to nurture them, continue to upsell, cross-sell, and continue that journey with them? And so really, I think that the pipeline falls apart when each of those 3 units, and then even 4 units, if you pull in the C-suite leadership teams, are not working together when they're working in silos.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think pipeline visibility in this way, it is so common for the sales and marketing pointing fingers, which I've never fully understood because it's like, peanut butter and jelly. Like, it's meant to go together. Like, these are complementary things, but having that visibility over your whole pipeline, which just to, define, is basically everything from when your customer first touches something in your brand all the way through to becoming a customer. And then, like you mentioned, the after part is so important because you can learn so much.
Yeah, 100%.
So if this is true, which it is, but if this is true, what are the practical steps that sales and marketing teams can take to really see that visibility of their pipeline as it goes from hello all the way into let's make a deal?
Yes, yes. So again, I think so much of this comes back to having the right tech stack. So I'm going to talk about HubSpot because I'm a HubSpot expert, but of course there are other CRMs. Use the tools that you have or onboard to the tools that are going to help you in this process. But whenever you have a really strong tool that's giving you data, then your teams are no longer speaking in narratives. They're no longer storytelling, right? We can get into the nitty gritty and we can say, marketing, you have driven 10 leads this month. And here's exactly where they came from. 5 of them came from our Facebook ads, 5 of them came from LinkedIn, and 0 are coming from our website email newsletter sign up, right? And so then we can get really tactical to say, stop pushing people to the website email newsletter sign up because they don't like it, right? So whenever we have that data, feelings are no longer getting in the way, right? I talked about at the beginning of this clash between sales and marketing, and sales telling one narrative of they're not bringing us good leads, and marketing having this other narrative of here's a spreadsheet full of leads that we generated. But whenever you have the right tools and tech in place, you can easily see Okay, great. You drove all these leads. Now, what happened with them? What was that handoff to sales? Were they ready? How many times did they interact with the brand? In what ways did they interact with our brand? Were they just downloading informational resources or were they really booking a discovery call? Did they seem like they were sales ready? So then we can really have those informed discussions. And then we can say to sales, whenever you had these calls, what happened with them? Where in that pipeline did they fall off? Did they make it to the proposal stage or did they fall off right after the discovery call? If we sent them a proposal, what happened? Did they ghost us? Did they say, no, thank you? Did they say, this is too expensive? What was the reason that those didn't close? And whenever we have all of that data, especially when it's in one tool, we can start having really strategic conversations and
Mm.
understand what's happening with our pipeline instead of kind of speaking in these high level, maybe this happened, or I've heard in other companies this is a problem, which happens a lot, admittedly, when I come into companies. We all are getting bombarded with so much content every day and people telling us, hey, this is why you don't have leads. This is why you're not making millions of dollars. But when you have the data, you can truly understand for your business why things are happening.
Yeah, I can't undersell enough how or underscore enough how important data is to really making informed decisions. It's easy to observe something that has a completely different motivator or cause, and having those really clear indicators allow you to make better decisions, right? How would you say, because I'm really big in KPIs, key performance indicators and metrics. How would you say that using this kind of data driven approach or even having these sort of things in place help you to see what it means to make a decision on the outcome? Like, how do you align this sort of like CRM to being able to highlight KPIs so that people can really see, am I on track, not on track, et cetera, towards their goal?
Yeah. Yeah, great question. And I think for every company, this is going to look a little bit different. As you shared at the beginning, I'm a revenue strategist, so I'm always going to go to dollars. People come to marketing teams, I work with them, and they say, we're seeing great engagement on social. People are visiting our website. And admittedly, I'm kind of like, I don't care. Like, where's the dollars? But I will admit, in some companies, that is important. Sometimes we have a longer sales cycle. We need a lot of brand
Mhm.
awareness before people are ready to convert. I'm very aware of that. But I think we can all agree as business owners, as leadership, as founders, that dollars are our number one, right? And so,
Especially when you're small.
exactly.
Yeah.
So to me, that's the number one KPI. How can we tie everything that we are doing back to revenue? And again, when you have the right tech in place, you genuinely can. And I know for a lot of people listening, this sounds like, how could this possibly be true? Right? Like,
Mm.
I have all these people and they're finding me in all these different channels. We're on social, we have our email newsletter, we're on podcasts, whatever we're doing. And people are just coming in and sure, there's revenue, but how are we tying that back? And genuinely, I'm here to tell you that you can and you should. Because again, like, business becomes so much easier when you deeply understand what's working and what's not working from those KPIs and the number one KPI being revenue generated.
Yeah, that's great. So let's say they do get that improved visibility. They're starting to work within their CRM to really make sure that they have whatever they need to kind of make those decisions. What is the actual impact that that kind of visibility will have on your revenue growth?
Yeah. So I think it really comes down to it allows you to be more efficient, right? We are all running in these worlds right now. I talk to a ton of clients who say to me, Jazz, I think we need to hire more people, but we don't have the budget to hire more people, right? Like our sales team is maxed out, our marketing team is maxed out, but we need more leads, we need more revenue. What do we do? And oftentimes it's not a matter of needing more people or needing your people to work more hours. It's a matter of being more efficient. And by having these KPIs and having this data, we are able to be really efficient because we're able to so clearly see what's working and what's not working. And I am immediately like, cut everything that's not working, right? If it's
Yeah.
not generating revenue, like, let's get rid of it.
Hmm.
And let's double down on everything that is working. And then to take it even a step further, when you have a really clean CRM and you feel really confident in your data, specifically your contacts and your companies, right? So you feel confident in, I know who these people are in my CRM and I know where they're at in the sales cycle. Then we can start peppering in a lot of automation too, which can happen in the background to save your sales team so much time. So your sales team is not doing continuous outreach. That's happening in the background for them so they can focus on that really human element of prospecting and truly selling. But all of those nurture campaigns and, hey, just checking in and, hey, I haven't heard from you in a while, all of that is happening in the background. So your sales team doesn't need to be thinking about that. They don't need to be doing that. So that's another really amazing piece that can come into play when you feel confident in your data.
Yeah, that's so great, especially that automated part. It can be really powerful for companies. And in this moment that we're living in, just a reminder to listeners, automation is not necessarily the same as AI. Automation is a powerful tool almost all the time if you can use some sort of automation or figure out how to do that for your business, especially as you scale and grow, really powerful. So I love that. As you might suspect, being that, the title of this podcast is the Managed Chaos Podcast. I want to talk about the
Yes.
chaos.
I love it.
I think, what I've seen with lots of different companies and founders is that it is a tightly controlled chaos if they don't have this visibility and understanding of the pipeline. I just worked with one founder the other day to just even sit down and kind of do what you were talking about, whereas really like hone in on those sales tasks and putting aside the other things. Like if it doesn't go towards this goal of making a sale, we got to put it down for right now, right?
Mhm.
So, in looking at this potentially tightly wound, chaotic moment, how can companies that are struggling with maybe messy data or even lack of alignment, or maybe they don't have a CRM yet, and it's just sort of any moment the chaos could hit at anywhere, and we just kind of manage, where's the best place for these kinds of leaders to really start so that they don't get overwhelmed and can start to actually manage that chaos?
Yeah, great question. So, first and foremost is get a CRM. If you're using spreadsheets, we got to get you in some kind of tool, some kind of tech tool. And HubSpot has a free CRM, which I always tell people is an amazing place to start because genuinely it's incredibly robust. If you truly just need a CRM and not all the extra sales and marketing tools, the free version will get you very, very far. So that's a great place to start. And within that, you can connect your calendar, you can connect your email. So those are, again, super low hanging fruit. So that way, every sales email that you're sending and every sales
Mhm.
meeting that you're having is automatically flowing into HubSpot. So even if you set HubSpot up and then you're super busy and you're like, I don't even have time to touch it for 6 months, at least you know that all the sales conversations you're having are flowing in there. So when you're ready to touch it, you have that historical data, you have those contacts, you have everything you need. So I would say like super busy founder, super low hanging fruit, like get yourself a CRM and just connect your calendar, connect your email. And that's an amazing place to start. And then from there, you can continue to grow, right? You can start tracking your deals in there. You can start cleaning your data. Once you feel confident in your clean data, maybe you start running a few marketing campaigns to those people, and it can grow gradually, but that's the best place to start. And then the other reason that I really recommend a tech tool instead of spreadsheets is because of that visibility. So if you have multiple people on your team, it's so important for you to be able to see who they're talking to, what's going on, just from a day to day basis, but then also because there's so much churn right now. We know that
Mhm.
people are leaving companies at a more rapid pace than ever before. And I don't want you to lose out on all of those potential sales when somebody on your team decides to move on to their next opportunity. And that's exactly what happens when you're living in a spreadsheet.
It's really smart advice. As we both know, it is so much cheaper to keep a customer than it is to find a new one. So knowing your churn and keeping as many people as possible is not to be undervalued, especially when you're trying to start growing. It's been a great conversation. I really appreciate your honestly, you did a great job of being like high level and in the weeds at the same time about pipeline. There is so much here. I feel like it is just like a 13-course meal, but we appreciate that you gave us a little slice. And I agree. CRM, get started with just connecting it in email. And if you aren't sure about what the rest of the suggestions were, that's a great opportunity to connect with someone like Jasz about how to get going otherwise and really make that work for you. So if people are interested in getting more information or staying connected, what is the best way for them to do that with you?
Yeah, thank you. My website is jazzrae.com. That's JASZRAE.com. And then you can also find me on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. Connect with me. Tell me that you listen to the podcast, and I'm always happy to have a conversation and just help you with anything that you need.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Jasz. It was really nice to talk
Thank
to you
you.
today. And that has
Yeah,
been
thanks so much for having me.
Yeah. That's been another episode of the Managed Chaos podcast. We hope that you subscribe to whatever platform you're listening to us on, especially as we get going into 2026, because we want to know all of your thoughts. What should we talk about? What should we do again? Who should we revisit? And hopefully we'll get to the next episode with a topic that you've selected as a listener. So stick around and let us know on the next episode of the Managed Chaos podcast.
Outsourcing your US tech talent shouldn't be hard. With Pobble.io, we deliver high quality teams on demand and provide huge cost savings to your business. Try it now at Pobble.io. Mention the amazing guys at Managed Chaos when you email us and get a free market data report. Email contact@Pobble.io.